The neon-lit corridors of Station Vayara hummed with the electric pulse of 1,000 alien species conducting business, trading secrets, and hunting prey. It was a haven for the ruthless, a marketplace for the damned. Here, in the outer rim of explored space, law was a suggestion and survival was currency. Canet moved through the crowd with the arrogance of someone who had never lost. His crimson scales caught the flickering lights as he navigated past huddled groups of merchants and mercenaries. He was Drakthari, a species engineered for war, bred for dominance. Standing nearly 8 feet tall with 4 powerful arms and an exoskeleton that could deflect most energy weapons, he was a living weapon. His kind had conquered 17 systems before the Galactic Council forced a treaty upon them. But Kanat didn't respect treaties. He respected strength, and he possessed it in abundance. His target was simple: a human girl who had stolen something valuable from his employer, a crime lord who controlled half the station's black market. The item was a data chip containing jump coordinates to an unmapped sector, rumored to house ancient technology. The girl had been foolish enough to intercept the courier, and even more foolish to remain on the station. Humans were new to the galactic stage, barely a century into their first contact. They were weak, fragile things that most species regarded with either pity or contempt. Their homeworld was a death world by galactic standards, but they themselves seemed ill-equipped for the universe's brutality. No natural armor, no venom, no enhanced strength. Just soft flesh and empty boasts. Kanat's scanner beeped as he approached Section 7, the station's abandoned industrial quarter. The device displayed a 3-dimensional rendering of the area, and there, highlighted in pulsing red, was his target's biosignature. Then came the warning. The scanner's AI voice was clinical and emotionless. Species identification, Homo sapiens. Origin, Earth. Threat assessment, Category 9. Advisory: do not engage. Recommended action: retreat and request backup from... Kanat laughed, a sound like grinding stone. He silenced the device with a swipe of one clawed hand. Category 9. The highest threat classification was reserved for species like the Void Striders or the Hive Consciousness. Not for a single human girl who probably weighed less than one of his arms. The Council's paranoia about Earth had always amused him. Just because humans came from a world with higher gravity, diverse predators, and extreme weather didn't make them dangerous. It made them survivors at best. The galaxy was full of survivors. Warriors were different. He stepped into the darkened corridor, his forearms flexing in anticipation. His employer wanted the girl alive for interrogation, but accidents happened. If she resisted, he would break her slowly. The corridor opened into a vast storage bay filled with derelict shipping containers stacked 3 stories high. Emergency lights cast long shadows across the metal floor. The air smelled of rust and ozone. "I know you're here, human," Kanat called out, his voice echoing through the space. "Give me the chip and I'll make this quick. Resist and I'll take my time." For a moment there was only silence. Then she stepped out from behind a container. Bella was small by Drakthari standards, barely 5.5 feet tall. She wore simple combat fatigues, scuffed and stained from station life. Her dark hair was pulled back in a practical braid, and her brown eyes assessed him with an unsettling calmness. She held no weapon, no energy blade, no plasma pistol. Her hands hung loosely at her sides, empty. Kanat's laugh was genuine this time. "You're unarmed? The scanner was wrong about you, little human. This will be disappointing." "The scanner told you Category 9, Bella said quietly. Her voice carried no fear, no bravado. It was simply a statement of fact. "You should have listened." "I've killed things that would give you nightmares," Kanat growled, advancing slowly. "I've crushed warframes with these hands. What can you possibly do to me?" Bella's expression didn't change. "I'm from Earth." Those 3 words hung in the air like a death sentence. Kanat lunged with the speed of a striking serpent, all 4 arms reaching to grab, crush, and tear. He had killed hundreds this way, overwhelming his opponents with sheer power and speed. Bella moved. She didn't dodge in the conventional sense. She flowed, her body somehow slipping through the spaces between his grasping hands like water through fingers. Before Kanat could process what happened, she was inside his guard, too close for him to effectively strike. Her fist drove into his solar plexus with the force of a hydraulic press. The Drakthari exoskeleton, designed to withstand plasma fire, cracked audibly. Pain exploded through Kanat's torso, a sensation he hadn't felt in over a decade. He swung with 2 arms, trying to swat her away, but she was already moving, her small frame impossible to track. Her elbow crashed into his knee joint with surgical precision. The reinforced bone splintered. Canet roared and tried to grab her with his lower arms, but she caught one of his wrists and twisted. The movement was economical, perfect, using his own momentum against him. The joint dislocated with a wet pop that echoed through the bay. He stumbled, disbelief flooding his mind. This was impossible. She was human. She was fragile. But as Bella moved around him like a dancer performing a routine she had practiced 10,000 times, Canet understood what the scanner had tried to tell him. This wasn't a warrior from a peaceful world. This was a predator from a planet that built predators. Humans had evolved in 2 times Earth's gravity compared to most council species. Every movement she made carried devastating force. Her bones were denser, her muscles stronger, her reflexes honed by millions of years of hunting and being hunted. Bella's bare hands found his throat. Her fingers, which looked so delicate, pressed into the weak points between his scales with educated precision. She knew Drakthari anatomy. She had studied it, prepared for it. Your species conquered 17 systems, Bella said softly as Canat's vision began to blur. Mine conquered its own planet first. Every predator, every disease, every natural disaster. We didn't have an easy world to make us soft. We had a crucible that forged us into something the galaxy wasn't ready for. Canat tried to fight, tried to use his superior size, but his strength was leaving him. His lungs couldn't draw air. His 4 arms flailed uselessly. The scanner gave you a way out, Bella continued, her voice never rising above conversational. Category 9 means extinction-level threat. It means you're facing something that survived when nothing should have survived. We climbed to the top of our food chain with nothing but these. She held up her free hand, showing him her fingers, her bare skin, her blunt nails. No claws, no venom, no armor, just intelligence, endurance, and the absolute refusal to quit. That's what Earth gives its children. That's why the Council fears us. Canet's last thought before darkness claimed him was bitter regret. The scanner had warned him. The data was clear, but arrogance had made him deaf to wisdom. Bella released his throat and stepped back as the massive Drakthari warrior collapsed to the metal floor with a thunderous crash. She checked his pulse once, confirmed the kill, and retrieved the data chip from her pocket. As she walked toward the exit, she tapped her comm device. Contract fulfilled. The hunter became the hunted. Again. On the other end, her contact's voice crackled with amusement. Did he ignore the warning? Bella glanced back at Canat's corpse one final time. They always do. They never believe it until it's too late. That's why we keep getting work, her contact replied. Everyone thinks humanity is weak until we show them what weak really looks like. I'll transfer your payment. Well done, Bella. She stepped into the corridor, leaving the darkness behind. Somewhere on the station, another scanner would warn another hunter. Another fool would laugh at the designation Earthborn and the advisory to retreat. And another lesson would be taught in the oldest language the universe understood. Survival of the fittest. Humanity had learned that language long before they reached the stars, and they had become fluent in ways the galaxy was only beginning to understand.